Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry for the little 5-second video for those of you guys that tuned in already. Um, if you guys are watching, go over and comment. Let me see where you're watching from. Let us know. We love that part of our show. And so today on Choppa History, sponsored by Indian Motorcycles and Law Tigers, today is going to be about Law Tigers, who was a big presence, made a big presence at Arizona Bike Week, which was this past weekend. And as you guys know, most everything has been canceled this year, and fortunately, they were able to get Arizona Bike Week back, able to do it, I should say, this past weekend. So we figured Ari from Law Tigers will be able to check in with us. So I see Jose's checking in, Shannon from Indiana. Any of you other guys, check in. Let us know you're watching, because I can't see who's checking in and who isn't unless you guys comment. So I guess let's get to it. Let's get to Choppa History today, which is, like I said, sponsored by Indian Motorcycles and Law Tigers. Let's bring on Ari.
Hey guys.
Hey, Ari.
Hey, Ari, how are we doing?
Good. How you doing, Dave? How you doing, Jody?
Good.
We missed you at Arizona Bike Week this year. I was looking forward to seeing you, but it wasn't the same without you.
Well, I don't know about that, but so tell us, how was it?
Well, it was different. We've been involved with Arizona Bike Week for, probably 20 years now or close to it. And, I got to give credit to Brad, Lisa, Susie, the team. They weren't sure how this was going to play out, right? Because of all the restrictions. And so, they had all kinds of hoops to jump through. They had to have restrictions, separation, masks, the whole time you're there, unless you're sitting down, of course, and eating or drinking. But they did the best they could. And quite honestly, it exceeded my expectations, both as a partner sponsor as well as, friends of those guys. And I get to see behind the scenes what goes on, and trust me, this was not a big money maker for these guys. They actually lost money, but they were committed to doing this to support the community. And there's a setup, by the way. That's what we had. That was actually our setup at Arizona Bike Week. Support the community and show that, they're not going to give in to this, and they're going to provide value to customers and to riders like us. So, it was much smaller, only about half the vendors, no bike shows, no ride-in charity events. It was just concerts and vendors, but it was still a good time, and it was still worth coming out. So I'm glad we did it.
So did they have less vendors and stuff because of that's it? The state wouldn't let them. Is that the reasoning?
I think it was a combination of both. They had to they reduced the size down to what it was probably like 7-8 years ago before they grew and expanded. Up until this year, I mean, they had coverage in the tent, plus outside. It was like a triple, quadruple size venue. But yeah, I mean, they I don't think anyone thought they were going to pull it off, including the city and state. And
yeah, we were kind of leery out here.
I know, but they were vigilant. They're like, look, Sturgis did it. We're going to do it, and we're going to make it happen, even with some of the challenges and restrictions. But yeah, I think it was just there was a limited space, so they limited the number of vendors, and then they also redid the whole layout. So when you went to the concerts, the whole area was kind of like VIP for everybody, right? They had these fences, and you could have your own little section of like up to 9 people with a high top table. So I thought that was pretty cool to get your own area. But
so there wasn't like crowds necessarily?
Well, it wasn't super crowded. Obviously the headliner on Saturday, and I'm blanking on the name now. They're going to kill me. But
was it Black Smoke or something?
The Black Smoke was another day. And then I know that Jesse James Dupree with Jackal, they played on Wednesday because I interviewed him backstage, and he's a friend of ours. Just to talk to him, we did a Facebook Live and some video. And then the Black Smoke, something or other. And then Night Ranger. That's right. Night Ranger played, and they actually put on a good show. The lead singer is from Arizona. He went to Arcadia High School, which is right down the street from.
Yeah, DP's a big fan of them.
Yeah, right. I have all their albums.
What's your favorite song, Dave?
What's your favorite song?
I'm pushing
so many. It's hard to pick one. There's so many good ones that I like.
I was looking forward to seeing Sister Christian. I don't know if you ever heard that one before, but I missed it because I had to go home. I was so tired. So I hung out with the promoters for a little bit.
Your age.
I know, exactly. But it was good. The shows were great. They were supposed to have some other headliners, but for one reason or another, they weren't able to attend, but within a matter of days, the promoters got replacement bands, and they did a great job. And you got to give a shout out to them, because there's a lot of people that are still concerned and wouldn't be willing to come out to play to a crowd. But there was a pretty good crowd on Saturday. I couldn't tell you how many thousands, but it was a good crowd Saturday. The other crowds were decent, but you gotta realize there's only so many 5-day passes available because of restrictions with the city and state. And then there was 1-day passes, and so they sold out of 5-day passes. Now it was on a reduced attendance level, I think about a third or half of what they normally do, but the dailies were available as well. So we did it. We got through it. Everyone's happy about it. Now they're gearing up for next year's event, which will take place on the scheduled date. Which I don't have the date.
So like April, the beginning of April?
Yeah, beginning of April. Yeah.
Yeah, like the first weekend in April.
Yeah. So it sounds about right. Yeah. So we'll be there in full force, and hopefully you guys will be out there and doing your thing as well.
Yeah, because we were supposed to go in April. But obviously with everything canceled and all that.
Yeah, I mean, we're planning on, hopefully, we'll come next year. Brad wanted me to do something with their bike show, which we were going to do the Best Paint Award.
Yes.
Jody and I were going to come out and present it, and of course, give us a great chance to hang out with you and all the other guys out there.
Yeah, I was actually kind of bummed because I was going to ride from Daytona out to Arizona Bike Week and then leave my bike for the Kyle Petty ride, which was like less than a month later.
Right.
And obviously with everything been canceled. So now it'll just get postponed hopefully till next year.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can make it out and hang out with us. I look forward to that. And I love your paint show, by the way. Not that I'm trying to brag or anything, but my bike did.
Yeah.
And you guys have nothing to do with it. Anyone thinking that it was an inside job, that's not the case. We had other judges judging, and
we don't judge.
So, but in Sturgis, I had a great time at your paint show, and that bike was just done for me by Paul Yaffe, and I love it. We were just actually out there with a couple of his bikes, and his wife Susie is a partner in Arizona Bike Week, so we hung out with them, and it's a family affair. But
people I know asked me a bunch of times about Sturgis of whether people were wearing masks or not, and you sent me this picture.
There you go.
And I thought, so do you have these masks? That's awesome.
Yeah, I've got.
How come we don't have any?
What's up, Ari?
How come we don't have any, Ari?
These are very limited edition masks, but I may be able to find you guys one each in my stash.
That would be very cool.
There's one version. Here's another version. And then the third version is just black with law tigers. But yeah, when this thing broke out, I let's do something kind of fun. My friend Andy from Champa, who does some really cool stuff in the motorcycle industry, was making these, and so I ordered some for staff. Because they're out and about. They were in Sturgis. They were wearing masks the whole time. In Sturgis, that is, and they had hand sanitizer and glove. We have these nitrate gloves that you're probably aware of when you work on bikes and stuff that are branded that we give out to shop staff.
So we needed some of those gloves on Saturday. We were one of my bikes that had been sitting a while. The tank had
a long while.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. And I cleaned the carburetor on Friday. My hands, I must have washed my hands 50 times to try to get the smell out.
Me too. Same thing.
And then I had to do it again on Saturday. And I said, no way am I touching this without gloves.
Yeah, right. I said the same. And we just ran out of nitrate gloves.
Well, I know we've got a new marketing manager there who is a little shy. But I think if you ask him for some nitrate Law Tiger gloves, I think he'll oblige and send them to you. So we'll make sure to get you some of those.
Give us like a stuffed animal.
Yeah. I don't know
what that.
Yeah.
Are you not hooking him up with the good stuff?
Well, he should have it. He's obviously hoarding it or something. So I'll make sure he gets you.
He must be hoarding it.
He must be. We're also developing some really cool riding gloves that should be ready here soon. So I'll send. They're not done yet, but I'll send you guys a little goodie bag with some stuff.
All right. Yeah, very cool.
We try to develop products that have like utility and shelf life, especially for our shop staff and our partners. So we'll be happy to send them. But
were you looking for? Yeah. So on that subject of you being a rider, I think that us personally, we like to endorse companies that we believe in. We're not
Cool.
just gonna, if somebody gives us a product or tries to pay us, we're not gonna endorse just anybody. And something that I really like about Law Tag is that you guys are real riders, and even that shows in your swag.
Yes.
What do you think?
Who gave that to you?
I think you gave that to me. I think that's my hat.
But I got it's a little small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jody.
What was that?
Oh, you were saying? I'm sorry.
I just think that it's awesome that you guys are riders. You're out there in the communities and the events, that you obviously have custom motorcycles. I mean, I personally have ridden with you, seen you on your motorcycle. There's a lot of corporate, America type companies that they're just looking for the dollar.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names, but there are large corporations, both legal and non-legal in nature, that really, I feel, just try to capitalize on the industry and the culture. And generally speaking, most people see right through it. Whether it's someone they hire from a previous TV show to endorse them, which is going on now in some markets, with a guy, to they're just claiming that they're riders. Most riders, they see it and understand the difference. And, it's something that I've grown. I had a little 70 ATC when I was 8 years old. Then I went to an XL80, and then I went to 250R, and then I went from there, to street bikes. So it's in my blood. And just like you guys, I'm a father-son team, like you're a father-daughter team. And to me, that's really what it's all about, is being able to spend time with family and do something you love and give back to others,
So at Arizona Bike Week, everyone there had to wear a mask?
Yes, everyone. As soon as you go down the ramp into the property, you have to wear a mask, and then the only time you could take it off is when you were sitting at your booth eating or drinking. Now, once people sat down, they were, there was some areas where they had reserved for, and people, once they sat down, took off their masks, they were fine, and they stayed in their little area, and there was no issue. The police were pretty vigilant on Wednesday enforcing that. And then as the week went on, because, once in a while it falls down off your nose or something like that. But they eased up a little bit. People are still wearing masks, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as I guess, strict, if you will. I think the police just wanted to send a message. We did get in trouble, by the way, for flying a drone accidentally. We didn't know that we were in the flight path of the Scottsdale Air Park. So my drone, my camera guy, got a hand slap. Hopefully nothing more will come out of it. We'll see. But he wasn't cited, but they did have to report him to the FAA. It was my fault because I wasn't there. I was hanging out with George from Knight Rider Jewelry at the time. But yeah, so that was our little controversy for the weekend.
Hope you guys at least got some good footage.
We did, I think. Actually, no, we didn't get any footage. We didn't get any footage. No, yeah, I don't know if we did or didn't actually, but we flew it in Sturgis a couple of times, and we didn't realize. I'm gonna have my guy get trained. Not trained, but get certified, and then he's already lost one drone in Sturgis going through one of those tunnels, and an RV took it out. So that was an expensive lesson. So we're trying to be a little more careful. But the footage is amazing when you can get good drone footage. And actually, that's what we do. When we go to all these events, Sturgis included, when we were at your paint show, and even here at Arizona Bike Week, I bring a video crew, producer, director that I just hire on daily basis, along with my full-time videographer. And we capture the moment. We capture the essence of every event because not everybody can go. So, it's up.
That's cool.
So we do video recaps and we do Facebook Lives every day, and it's become kind of a cool thing that I never would have envisioned us doing, is becoming like content providers and producing content for those people that, for whatever reason couldn't make it. And the views have been, and the engagement has been amazing, and it's been a cool thing to see and evolve over time. In fact, my crew even caught a photo of your dad over there hanging out at Lake of the Ozarks. Although I heard rumor, Dave, that you spent a few days on some boats. Did you go to ride or do both? What'd you do over there?
No motorcycles, just boats.
I'm jealous. So what's that lake like, by the way? Tell me, because I've seen photos and I'm so jealous that I couldn't make it there.
Well, I'm really a water person. I love being out on the lakes and everything. And Lake of the Ozarks is a place I always wanted to go. My friend Kim Suda's got a beautiful place right there on the lake. He invited Laura and I down there, and the lake is 92 miles long.
Wow.
There's over 40 bars and restaurants on the lake
That's
that you
awesome.
can go to by boat. It's maybe a half a mile wide, not much wider than that.
Sure.
It's very different. It's very murky water because there's a pretty strong current going through it because there's a dam on each end, and there's a lot of boat traffic. So that's accounts. It's not that the water is dirty or polluted. It's just it becomes murky because of all that.
I didn't realize that there was a current. So if you went swimming with the current, could it take you?
I don't think so.
Like not like an ocean current?
No, I don't think so. There's a current because there's a dam on each end.
Oh, so the water's constantly moving. Yeah,
At times one end opens and the other closes and vice versa because the current changes.
Right.
You could see it changing from day to day. But it was very cool. We hadn't planned on going the same time as Bike Week.
Oh.
It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, that wasn't
supposedly.
intentional. It just
That's
kind of
crazy.
happened that way. And of course, there was a lot of hamsters there. A lot of guys have moved down there from the Kansas City area.
Sure.
And so I'll tell you, Ari, you had a huge presence there. We went by the Harley dealer and you had the big lot, the Tiger out front. And then, of course, we ran into your
Sally.
your
Sally?
video people downtown.
Yeah.
During the the actual event where it was happening.
Sure.
And we talked to them and they were cool filming everything.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty cool event, very small.
Yeah.
But I liked watching it from the water.
I know. I actually called Dave. I'm like, hey, I didn't even know you're going to be there. I'm jealous. But he's like, yeah, I'm hanging out on a boat. I saw some cool video of like these amazing like pools as part of a bar. It's like a bar on the water with a pool in the back.
Oh yeah, there was quite a few bars that had that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen that show Ozark. That's on.
Oh, it's such a good show.
Absolutely.
I wish they
filmed there, but it's not filmed there. I heard it's filmed somewhere else.
Yeah,
Right.
what he said. I was like, oh, I thought it would be just like that.
Yeah, I heard there's cool homes along the water. So I'm definitely going next year. I had a conflict this year, but it's weird because we go to every major, or not every, but almost every major event. I'm aware of it. I'm in the industry, and then I hear about this 3-4 months ago. This event called Lake of the Ozarks, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I start hearing about it, and I'm like, this is actually a good event. And my team, because we have offices now in most states. My team down there, because I have a southern region, was telling me how great of an event it was. So, once I saw the video recap my team did, I'm like, you know what? I really want to go. So next year it's on my list of places to go.
Do they have it at the same time every day?
I would assume so.
So,
I mean, it wasn't changed for Corona?
No, I don't think so. I think
it's interesting you mentioned that because I was just at my buddy's campground, Adam Sandoval, who's one of our ambassadors and influencers, and he's out of Moyers, Oklahoma, which is this town, like a little town like 2.5 hours away from Oklahoma City and 2.5 hours from Dallas. And so we were at his event. And just going around the South and hearing from my guys, it's very different in the South than it is in markets like Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And some of the Northeast like Washington and Oregon, where people, it's a different political landscape, different culture. And it's much different. You don't see mask wearing that often in the South. People, you talk to them, it's like nothing's going on. So it was just interesting to see from my perspective going across the country how different this pandemic is being dealt with or viewed based on the state. It
literally is. When I rode out to Sturgis and going through North Dakota, it's like it didn't even exist. Like there wasn't the stickers on the floor. Nobody wore masks. Forget it.
South Dakota was the same way. Sturgis,
right.
Nobody wore masks in Sturgis.
Whereas Massachusetts, they're like Nazis here that, you can't, people say stuff to you, never mind the stores.
Right.
It's tough. But
it is tough. It's tough doing business there for us. I know that, overall the motorcycle industry has done fairly well during pandemic because people want to get out and ride and have fun. But from my perspective, and again, not that I want to see anyone get hurt. Our goal is to help people in their time of need, but we've even seen it significantly because there's just so many less cars on the road. In fact, I saw a study that placed in Massachusetts in May. I think there was like 70 or 80%. This is done by the insurance company. 70 to 80% less accidents, which is a good thing, right? But it just shows you just how few cars are on the road because people are home, right? And it's crazy to see. And my member there, Tom Kiley, great guy, and I know Dave and him are friends. He's our lawyer there, and we've just gotten started, but it's been a slow start just because there's just not as many people around, not as many events. You guys, credit to you, you've had your monthly show, which we've supported, but for the most part, there's just not a lot going on throughout the country, especially in markets like Massachusetts and the Northeast, like I've said, where they're still shut down to some degree.
Yeah. So I'll pop up this picture with Tank.
Yes.
In which I saw Tank too.
I like it.
Burgess managed to get my picture with him.
Well, you got to give that guy credit. He might. Is that suit air conditioned?
Hell no.
No,
Yeah.
I asked him that. I asked him that when I saw him on the streets, and it was a hot day, and I said, man, are you hot in there? And he was like.
So that was not my full time, like my normal guy, my full time guy. We found him locally, but the guy that normally does it. Well, first of all, it used to be Lionel, which I don't know if anyone knows that or not.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, it used to be Lionel. That's a big secret. So Lionel was our first Tank mascot person, and Lionel's like a jack of all trades. I mean, this kid he's into rodeo, he's into making furniture. He's in the best shape of anyone I know. He sleeps 4 hours a day. I mean, this kid can do it all, and I know I'm pumping him up now. And Lionel's our VP of field operations. He runs our whole grassroots marketing team and program. But anyway, so he and I talked about this probably when he first started 10 years ago, and we're like, it'd be cool to have a mascot. The athletic teams have it, and and we have a brand, and so let's do something cool. And so he took the bull by the horns, designed it, and it was our first Tank. But after a couple years, he was I think getting a little burnt out by being Tank. It was cool though because he was able to ride motorcycles. He zip lined in Sturgis. He could do anything, and we filmed him riding a few times. But the new guy we hired is like in his 50s. He's a comedian and he's a pitch man, like those ShamWow kind of things. But then he's also our Tank, and he was at Arizona Bike Week on Saturday, and 95 degrees, and the guy's just a machine. But they take breaks and they get water and stuff. But I'll tell you, whether it's some little girl or little kid or grown man, I've even had these manly club guys, and you get Tank in front of them, and puts the tail around and kind of does the little high five, and everybody loves Tank. So it's been a great addition to our.
He was awesome, and like when I saw him. Not only for my relationship, but I was like, oh, I got to get a picture with you. Like, he's kind of like walking down the street like this. Like,
yeah, it's been great. Once in a while, I'll see a competitor, another law firm, and I'll say, go up there. Like, there's a guy named Lloyd Baker, who's an Arizona, Nevada lawyer, muscular guy. You see him on his chopper, and I say, go give Lloyd Baker a hard time. So I have him go up there and kind of do the tail and kind of like pump his chest and flex his muscles, So it's pretty funny to see.
Yeah, I know cool. Our buddy Dave Sylvia is watching, so
what's up?
Here's a quick picture of you and Mo.
What's up, Mo? How do you get that name? How do you get that name again? You told me and I totally forgot.
Because he used to have a mullet.
That's right. I remember. Him with a mullet from way back when.
Yeah, I'll have to find some. He rocked a mullet up until like recently, like 5 years ago.
Well, he's rocking a cool haircut now. I like it.
Yeah, it's mohawk. That's a mohawk.
It's a mohawk.
Hey, that's not in the cards for you.
No.
He could have a side hawk.
Yeah, right.
And I wanted to touch on this a little bit. That you guys support, which to us is very cool. You support a lot of the same things that we support, which is one of them being the Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame. you guys are a big supporter of that, and this was from the, what is it called? What was the rally? Masters. Meet the Masters.
Meet the Masters.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to support that. That's a great. You know, I love working with organizations that give back and where the money is being put to good use, like that one. You know, and even Arizona Bike. I mean, even the museum, motorcycle museum. You know, we approached them probably 3-4 years ago and said, look, we want to do a long-term sponsorship. You know, we love the Hall of Fame breakfast. Which congratulations, by the way, again, Jody, for being inducted, and Dave obviously is inductee as well. So, are you guys the only father-daughter team to be inducted, by the way?
Yes, we are. And my
And I think Jody's the youngest person to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Which I got this cool. Let me see this way.
There it is.
Yeah, I love this.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's very
Lionel,
cool.
did Lionel do these?
Yeah, Lionel did them. Yeah.
There you go. He's so talented.
Yeah, I remember you said, I stole one of those pieces.
Yeah,
Jody, we made one for you, custom.
Yeah, that one's way better with my name on it.
I know, but it's important. I think it's important to recognize those people who have contributed, like you have, both you have to the industry and the culture. And so it was just, I've been going to that breakfast for probably 10-12 years, and after the first year, I was like, you know what, we've got to get involved and support this. It's just too important. And same thing with the museum. Just, our industry needs to promote itself and show people both within it and outside of it that, we do good stuff. We provide a lot of value to individuals, not only for recreation, but to get to and from work as a economical mode of transportation. So it just made sense. And, I do want to give them a shout out, the Motorcycle Museum, as well as the Hall of Fame, because, these are not big money makers. It's a nonprofit. Folks like you and us and others donate, money and time to make it happen. And I know they really appreciate the support. So if you ever are in Sturgis, go ahead and check it out, the museum. It's on the corner of Main and Junction. And they have some great stuff in there, old bikes and history and other things that, really encapsulate what goes on in Sturgis and within our industry. And I'm looking forward to another year of being involved with it as well. So
yeah, we definitely like to support the museum, which is, preserving motorcycling history, and kind of one of the meetings behind our show is to, tell stories about motorcycles that, people can't Google, or, you only hear it firsthand. And the same thing with the museum, to actually see this stuff is really cool. And it's a great little museum.
Yeah, they got some really cool vintage bikes. And talking about vintage, I thought about you actually this past weekend. So I brought 2 of my bikes to Arizona Bike Week. I brought my 2020 Road Glide. We're calling it actually the Tiger Glide. That's what Paul named it. So we brought the Tiger Glide, and it still has some work that needs to be done to it. A couple minor things, so it's going back this week. But I also brought, and this is where I thought about you, my 1943 WL, not A, that's the Army edition, WL45. So, Mike Savage, don't you, Dave? Savage Customs?
Yeah, in Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
So Dave, I bought the bike from Jason Sims, who we all know, who puts on the Cannonball and the Chase, which we sponsor and you participate in, Jody. And Jason's like, I got this really cool bike that I bought at auction. I'll sell it to you for what I have into it. It just makes sense. It's your colors. It's black and orange. It's got history. It runs well. You can run it in the Chase if you ever want to do so. And so I bought it from him probably about a year ago, and I took delivery probably 6 months ago. So Mike came down for what he thought was going to be Arizona Bike Week, and in April or March, and he has friends and family here, and he dropped the bike off, and then it sat for probably 3-4 months because I was been busy, and I have no idea how to get this thing running, to be honest with you, full disclosure, because I've never owned an old bike like this, a classic. So Mike came by about 2 weeks ago, and we went through the whole bike and got it running. But man, it's a process. I didn't realize there's like 4 or 5 steps you have to take to get the thing running. But once you do it, man, it kicked right over. It's just like bled oil because it's been sitting so long, which I didn't realize it does that.
They mark their territory.
Yeah. So it blew it up. We got it going. I rode around the street. I think I sent you a video of it. I don't know.
I didn't upload it. I didn't get all of them uploaded. I wish I did now.
Yeah, but it was a blast riding an 80-year-old motorcycle. I mean, you can relate to it. It's just so different.
Yeah, totally different. Does it have a rocker clutch and a tank shift?
Yep, tank shift, rocker clutch. Yeah, crappy brakes.
Oh yeah, no, you can't depend on the brakes. Thankfully, they don't go fast. So
That's true. But I guess they have some sort of crate motor that Harley built, and so they're really reliable, and you can replace them pretty easily. The motor's only got, I think, 500 miles or less on it. So yeah, so that's my new little toy. So you may have to give me some pointers if I take it on the chase, because I'm a little nervous about going long distance.
you
on the ride.
have to. You have to now.
I'm not making any promises, but I will. Can you break that up? Can multiple people share the chase, or is it just one person?
You can, but you'll lose points. So if you want to do it for points, then you have to do it all yourself.
So
Yeah,
you yourself, right?
Also, if you don't do it all yourself, you get called a pussy.
I was just gonna say that.
I was waiting
I
for
was
that.
gonna
Dave.
say
I
it
was
like
waiting
that,
for
but
I'd rather not be called a pussy and give my points. To be honest with you, I don't care about the points. I care about being called a pussy. So
yeah, you would definitely. I mean, most of these guys are hardcore, so you would definitely get laughed at.
I get ribbed. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm either going to do it on my own or not do it at all. So what's the difference then for people that don't know between the chase and the Cannonball? Because I know, again, we sponsor it. One of them, yeah. Don't you need what? You can tell me because you know better than I do.
So, yeah, as a matter of fact, one of my buddies was just here and I was talking to him about the chase. So the chase is a shorter duration than the Cannonball. So the chase is usually about 8 to 10 days, and whereas the Cannonball is over 2 weeks.
Okay.
And the chase is usually around 2,500 miles versus 3,700, 3,800.
Okay.
So figure 1,000 miles less.
Okay.
It's a little bit more miles each day. And the years, which I was just yesterday talking to Jason about this, is 1930 to hopefully 55. Yeah, for the year bikes that can go in the chase. Whereas the Cannonball is all pre-1929.
That's a big window, though. If you have a 30s bike and a 50s bike, I would assume you'd have a much bigger advantage on a 50s, wouldn't you?
Yes, and then no. The good thing about the chase is if you're in an older bike, they give you a handicap, so you get more points because it's a hotter. Like I rode a 36 VLH, so mine is a total loss oil system. So I'm gonna have obviously a longer journey and a hotter time than somebody that has a oil system that goes through. So the chase is, like I said, so hopefully to 1955, 1930 to 55. And the cool thing about the chase is you're doing it all on your own. So there's no chase vehicle, literally. Anything you need, you have to take with you. So that's what I was just talking to one of my buddies about, that, that's the time where I kind of become a scub and wear the same jeans as many times as I can, because you can only carry so much. You got to carry all the tools and pots that you might need, your rain gear, a warm coat, gloves. You got to carry all that kind of stuff, never mind clothes. And these old bikes, you can only carry so much on them.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do it. So, Dave, I'll make the deal. Dave, if you do it, I'll do it. How about that?
Oh, come on, Ari. He's got some.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I've done it before, but I
You're
don't
not
have it in me to do that again.
It seems
Come on,
tough.
Ari. You got to do it now while you're young.
Well, all right. The only concern I have, it's not about the riding. I'm not very mechanically inclined, so I don't know if something goes wrong, I'm screwed.
Well, that's what I was just talking to my buddy about. Is I kind of thought that too. I mean, I'm more and more mechanically inclined, and I know a lot. I just sometimes need guidance.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the chase is everybody helps everybody.
Oh, that's good to know.
Even like tools. I can't tell you how many times I lent out my tools to different people because I had something they needed, and vice versa. It's such a good camaraderie of guys that do it, that, if there's no doubt in my mind, if I needed help, somebody would help me.
Sure.
And, of course it is a competition.
Right.
So, there's always like one or two people that, you don't ask them because they're not going to help you. But for the most part, everybody, it's just such good friendships and relationships that you form with these people. And yeah, the experience itself is great, but what makes it even greater is the people and who you do this with. And, you become friends with people. Like I've made such good relationships on the Cannonball and the Chase
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made otherwise. And I think I earned a little bit of respect from this group of people, which being in the motorcycle industry my whole life, obviously I know almost everybody in it. But
Right.
this is a different bubble. This is not my bubble. This is not our bubble. This is not the custom people. So I had to almost earn respect from these people.
Sure,
And
sure.
I like to think that I did, because I knew more than they thought I was going to know. I
Right.
worked on my own bike. I didn't complain. Like, this is what we do. Like, and I had fun doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's awesome that you did that. Like when I was going to Sturgis, like my butt cheeks got sore every like 50 miles. So I'm not sure how it's going to fare sitting on a 8-year-old seat motorcycle seat. I may have to do like, even on when I was going to Sturgis, I would do like kind of a rotation, slide one way, slide the other, stand up. Can you stand
It's
up?
not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm telling you.
All right. Well,
And it was just sore for you because you were on a Harley and not an Indian.
oh, there's the plug. I heard it. Shameless plug. It's funny you mentioned that because, I work with all manufacturers, Indian, Harley, Honda. Half our business is actually metric. It's not even American V Twin. But I gotta give it to Indian. I rode my friend Adam Sandoval because he's sponsored like you are by Indian or works with Indian. And that bike's a nice bike. I was impressed with its power.
Yeah, you rode the Challenger?
Yeah, right. I rode the Challenger because we filmed. We actually filmed up and around Deadwood, and then we hung out at Scott Jacobs' restaurant. had a bite to eat over there. And he's like, you gotta take my bike for a ride. Just try it. He's like, I know you don't like the look of it as much as your Harley, but just try it. And I tried it, and I was impressed. I mean, the power, and it was stock. Yeah. My Harley is not completely stock either. And he has both. He's got a Road Glide, and he's got the Challenger. And he said that Challenger stock coming out of the gate, is an impressive bike. So I'm still. I mean, I like all bikes. I'd love to get some sort of Indian. I like the Scout. I like the 750 they came up with recently. But for now, I'm just sticking with my 2 Harleys. And I actually have 3. I have a Dyna Lowrider S as well, which I totally forgot about. But it's just such a different ride. Those bigger, those bigger baggers. But I got to give Paul credit. He turned it into really a sports touring bike. So it's got this ODC suspension on it, which is incredible, and Ribaffini parts. So these are Italian parts.
Yeah, nice stuff.
Great, and it just handles like I feel like I'm on a sport bike in some regard. But it was great. I'm looking forward to coming out and visiting you guys actually, and going on a ride, maybe the East Coast ride next year. So I love Massachusetts. I was born there actually. Dave and I talked about that. I'm a Dorchester kid. I don't have the accent anymore.
I was just gonna say, you certainly don't talk like it.
No, I don't say can yet, and wicked. But
been gone too long.
What'd you say? Been gone too long? Yeah, I was only a couple months old when I moved, but I still have that East Coast shtick, if you will. I like things going quick and let's get on with it, move on, and that's from my mom and dad who were born there and lived there. But I love coming back, and I look forward to visiting with you guys. I want to go up the coast on Harleys. I talked to Tom Kiley. I said next time I come back, we've got to ride the coastline up towards the Portsmouth and whatnot. It's just so pretty along that mass. If you haven't done it, anyone that's listening, you got to get on your bike, and you can go to a little bed and breakfast. You can go to the little lobster shacks, and it's just
tons of good riding here. Tons.
Yeah.
It's just you don't want to do it in November through March.
Well, you don't want to ride here. It's June, July, and August, so that's the perfect time to get out and go east. Go east. So yeah.
Yeah. There was another picture that. So whose bike is this?
That's Paul. So that is actually Paul's newest bike that he built for himself. And he built that at the same time. That's one of his SRT bikes. At the same time, they built my bike. And actually that's Brad's girlfriend and one of his kids. Brad from
Arizona Bike Week.
Yeah. So,
I see somebody commented and said that. Let me find this comment. Patricia Thurston, she said, shout out to Susie Yaffe and the rest of the Arizona Bike Week crew for still committing to the event.
Yep.
And just so bikers could have fun, they took a loss anyways.
That's
Awesome,
true.
folks.
And
yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because they did get some heat. I mean, I talked to, both Susie and Lisa, and they deal a lot with the public. Brad deals, more with like the behind the scenes stuff. And it was tough on them. I mean, they got a lot of criticism. And I said, look, you get one negative comment and then everybody chimes in. I'm like, look, those aren't the people that you should even concern yourself with. You're never going to make everyone happy. You guys did the best you could. You made it happen. And that's one thing that most other promoters cannot say or do. And so, I again give a shout out to the whole team there. But hey, go back real quick to that shot. I want to show you something really cool. I think you guys will find interesting that most people don't notice. So you can see that front windshield area. See how it's all anodized. So So Paul actually, he and I talked about this yesterday because I'm thinking about doing it for my bike, but we'll see. But he he customized this so it's a 3-piece anodized wind guard, what do you call that? Windshield, wind guard. And it took 100 plus hours to develop, but it's so cool because I've never seen that before. At least I personally haven't, where you have a 3-piece, and he's going to try to build a 1-piece next. He said, but it's a billet matching windshield. So I'm thinking about doing the same thing, but I don't know. Depends on the cost because it's very expensive to do.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So does that match the wheels? It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, it matches the wheels. It matches the floorboards and the controls, and that actually has the 131 crate motor in it, which is, I don't know if have you guys ridden a Harley with that new 131 in it?
No, I haven't.
It is, as you would say, it's wicked fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you ever have a chance to ride a bike with a 131 in it, I haven't done it to mine. Mine's a 114 with a cam in it, and he and I have been riding, and I can't even keep up. When he dropped gear when we were passing, he just guns in, and I can't keep up with him. The motor's just got so much mid and top end power, but I had to cut off the build at some point because, as you well know, builds can get very expensive very fast.
Yeah, well, if you can be endless.
Oh,
literally.
yeah, I mean, you end up spending multiples more than the bike itself costs. So I'm just going to stick with some minor mods to the motor. Nothing crazy, at least for now. But it is a very impressive motor, and the bike runs well. And that the way he did it with the XLT and the way it's set up, it's a fun bike to ride and very performance oriented. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So what do you guys been up to? You staying busy over there?
Yeah, we're busy. We have a lot of projects for the winter. The small stuff, service stuff is pretty much coming to a close. So now we'll concentrate on the bigger jobs. We've got some FXR stuff to do. We got some shovel head stuff. I'm going to be building an old Nest style iron head digger.
Nice.
We've got a number of paint jobs. So we've got work. We're always looking for more.
Sure.
But it's we pick and choose too.
Sure.
If it's a job that I don't feel good about, then I'll pass it on.
Sure. That's good.
Mostly big wheel baggers.
Yeah.
Don't go going on.
Those don't make the cut.
I'm glad. I like the FX. I'd love to get myself an FXR. My nephew, who's 17. He was with me at Arizona Bike Week because he was staying with us for a couple of days, and his dad has a Harley, and I'm trying to get him into it. And that's what we really need to do is get these kids involved, right? Well, that's there's a silver lining with COVID. I think it's not forced. It's driven people to consider doing stuff with their family, rather than just watching TV or being online. And so we're seeing like dirt bike sales through the roof, side by sales through the roof, street bike sales doing well. And so my hope is, these younger kids, just like when we were younger, are on bikes, and then it influences them to then at some point get street bikes and enjoy them. But he was loving it. And I said to him, that's an FXR rode by. up in the parking lot. I go, that's an FXR. If you ever want to get a bike, that's what I would get if I were you. And I
Best
said,
bike Howie ever made.
best bike, yeah. And Paul had two of them in his shop. In fact, Myron just picked up a FXRT that is beautiful. It's mid condition. And for those of you who don't know, that's the touring version with the fairing on the front and tour pack. And I said, one of these days I've got to get myself an FXR. So I got to find the right one. And it'd be so cool. But I agree with you. I never got into the big wheel bagger thing. Some people like it. I'm more about performance. And, I didn't rake my bike. I kept it stock. I put aftermarket wheels like you have, the BSTs on it. But for me, I don't need the bigger wheel. I'd rather have something that performs well, and does what I'm wanted to do. But again, some people are into that. That's their thing. I know it's big out here in Arizona. There's some builders that are really focused on that, and I don't know if that trend is past yet or not, but hopefully it'll be over sooner than later. So
yeah, I was kind of sad. I just sold my 82 shovel
Oh,
FXR
did you?
last night, as a matter of fact.
Why'd you get rid of it?
I can only have so many bikes.
That's true.
You know what? I was like, I need to buy a vehicle, and because I'm currently vehicleless, long story, but anyway, and I just said, you know what? I can always buy another one. I have enough projects. I have enough bikes.
Right.
So, but I was kind of sad to see it go, but it went to a good home, and it's definitely going to be cool when he does the things that he's going to do.
Yeah, it went to Texas.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Rusty that owns D&D Exhaust.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, Rusty will do some
Yeah.
really. He and I were actually at Adam Sandoval's place for his big Bring It Home event too. And Rusty and I were hanging out, going side by side riding, and he is, talk about a guy that's got his hands in it. I mean, he's at every event. He's turned that company around, and he'll do some cool stuff to that bike, and it'll get ridden. So that's good that it went to a good home.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a cool shovel head, one owner, all original. Wow. It was a cool bike. So, awesome. But anyway,
you need a car, right? You need a car, so the timing is right to get a car with the winter. You can't ride your bike in the snow, right?
I know, literally, that's what I've been driving GP's truck, because my bike, it's like today, it's maybe 50 out. It's already turning cold here.
Right.
Especially leaving in the morning at 5:30 for the gym when it's only 42 degrees.
Oh yeah, that's too cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
But I did want to say how you were saying that kids should get on bicycles. We just had our fall event, charity event, and what I decided that we're going to start raising money for is the Strider All Kids Bike Program, which puts bicycles, these little balanced bicycles, in schools.
Yes.
So we were able to raise $8,000, which is enough for 2 schools. So we're going to do the school in this town and the school in the town that I live in, because my nieces go to it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool program because it gives them, they get the balance bikes, they get helmets, they get, all the proper gear. The kids get like riding kits, and they teach them how to ride a bicycle.
Yes.
So, I hate to say it, but a lot of parents are almost lazy where they're not teaching their kids how to ride bicycles.
Right.
So kids are never going to learn. They're not going to get on 2 wheels. And hopefully this carries over to the motorcycle industry as they get older and can get on a motorcycle easy.
I agree.
I think it's a sad situation where, when I grew up, I lived on my bicycle. I mean, I went everywhere on my bike. I had a permanent spot.
What did you have, Dave? What brand did you have?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Probably all different.
It was a 26-inch. It was a 26-inch bike, but it was only a single speed. It wasn't a 3-speed. I didn't have the fancy 3-speed. I just had the single.
Did you have the long seat? One of them with the long?
No. I mean, I built a couple of those because I couldn't afford to buy one.
Right.
So I built a couple of those little Stingray bikes. Yeah.
Those are awesome.
That's where he parked it.
Where?
Well, at my father's house, there was 3 trees that were growing up together, and the front wheel just fit perfectly right between the 3 trees.
Nice.
And, eventually, it had a big imprint where the axle went in. So I just drive it right into the trees and step off, and that was my pocket. Never had to use the kickstand.
That's awesome. It's funny talking about trees. I have this memory when I was probably 8, 9 years old. My dad used to be a criminal defense lawyer, and before he became a corporate lawyer, and then before he started Law Tiger. So this was and I was probably 7, 8 years old. And I remember coming home one day and I see this Harley chopper. At the time, I didn't know what it was. Chain linked to our tree in our house, and it looked like kind of an Easy Rider style chopper. And I said to my dad, "What is that?" He's like, "Well, I'm representing a guy who couldn't afford to pay me my fee, so I have his bike on collateral." And so this bike literally sat chained to a tree, uncovered for 4 or 5 years. I think he ended up never getting his fee and he sold it. But I would have loved to have ridden that. But later on, he got a Virago 750, and I ended up, and then a Goldwing 1500 later on, and I ended up taking those out without him knowing. So those, and like you said, Dave, riding my bicycle, everywhere, to the mall, to restaurants. I mean, that's what we did, 8, 10, 12 miles. It was just normal. Now, I talk to friends of mine and like scared to let their kid go to like the down the street to the playground or something. I'm like, you gotta
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you got to give your kids a little bit of latitude and let them get out there. Otherwise, they're going to be sheltered for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
don't even
agree.
see. I live at the end of a cul-de-sac, and there's kids on my street, but you don't even see them riding bicycles ever.
No, not at all.
It's a thing because they not only for their future and being able to respect two wheels and ride two wheels, but they're missing out. Like we have so much fun riding bicycles, even in the driveway.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the motor companies, the Indians and Harleys and Hondas, I mean, I would get together and say, guys, let's put it together. They've done it with like the pistachios and the milk industry. Get together for the common good and put money into programs like Strider, which they've been also a great supporter of the Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And just get kids on bikes. Remember the Honda stuff? The nicest people ride a Honda. Remember that?
Guy says that all the time.
Yeah, I mean. They need to get together and do that.
On a Honda.
Right. So it'd be cool to see at least some collaboration by the manufacturers to get kids on bikes, promote all the great. I mean, my fondest memories of my childhood with my dad in the Yuma Sand Dunes, as well as up north in Flagstaff, riding our motorcycles or ATCs together. One time, in fact, in Yuma, the wind got so bad we ended up like having to sleep in the truck because the sand was beating on us and blew the tent over. But there was still, just the memories of doing those things together with him. And we've ridden together, along the coast of PCH in California through Colorado. This was some time ago. He's now not on bikes as much as he used to be, but even as an adult, those memories will be cherished forever. And I think that's what people have to realize is, it's not just about getting on a bike and riding. It's about the experience you have with others, the bond, the commonality, the culture. And you don't get that unless you actually live it and do it and breathe it.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Yeah,
and that's part of goes back to the chase and the cannonball. It's the experience of people that makes stuff so great. Yeah.
Talking about that, I know, Jason and I talked, in fact, yesterday, the day before. He's actually buying a house. He's moving out here to Arizona. So he bought a big piece of property where he can store his bikes. And those of you who don't know Jason, he's a big time like buyer and seller of older bikes, vintage bikes, and he puts on the Chase and the Cannonball. Unfortunately, this year it was postponed, right? But next year, I think is he doing both next year?
Yeah, supposedly the Chase is going to be in June-ish.
Yeah.
And then the Cannonball in September. Because normally it's every other year. The Cannonball and the Chase are every other year. And so on the off year of the Cannonball, it's the Chase, vice versa.
Yeah, so we're excited to sponsor both and hopefully participate in them as well in some capacity. But he'll be out here.
Yes, I'll sign you up.
I know. You're not going to let me live this one down. I can tell already.
Yeah.
But he'll be here shortly, so we'll be able to hang out, and we're going to do some filming and hang out to promote it because I want to get more people aware of this these great races that once people see it, they're like, wow. I mean, the crowds that are drawn once they see these vintage bikes rolling in, it's such a sight to see, and I think more people should experience it.
Yeah. So. We've been working on my Cannonball bike, which is a 1912 single cylinder. And people don't even realize how difficult it's going to be just to ride it.
Sure. It's like a bicycle almost, right? It's almost like a bicycle, right?
Yeah. I mean, just to ride it, never mind 3,800 miles. But it's so cool to look at. Like, I literally just as soon as I get here, I go and look at it. And, like, I can't look at it and not smile and think, like, this It's going to be a grueling experience, but one that I'll be glad that I can say I did.
Are you gonna keep doing these every year or for the foreseeable future?
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Cool.
In which we, obviously stepped our game up big time from the Cannonball last year, which I rode a 1926, and
Right.
it was almost too easy. My bike just hummed right along. It was, I
Wow.
knock on wood, didn't have any issues, nothing.
Right.
So this year riding a single gives me a chance to win. So
Wow.
I couldn't,
Yeah, I
you're
got
not
you.
gonna win with a twin.
Got it. Ah, okay. I didn't know that. So Dave, you must be proud of Jody for doing this. It's pretty cool that she's doing these races.
Oh yeah, I mean it's she's really earned like she said, she's earned a lot of respect from a lot of people that thought maybe, when we started racing, land speed racing, which she has 18 land speed records and
Yes.
first woman in history to ever go over 200.
Wow.
And, and then when she started doing Billy Lane's race,
The Sons of
the
Speed.
Sons of Speed race,
Which you guys got to make a presence there.
I've been talking to Jody about it. We just haven't come to terms yet, but I'd like to. Yeah.
Yeah, we have actually somebody commented. Tim Raines said Law Tigers needs to come out to Sons of Speed in Daytona.
No, I'm looking
Not the
forward to
only
it.
one.
Yeah, we've talked, Billy and I. But Dave, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, some of my friends that were at some of the first Sons of Speed races that Jody was there, and Jody won one of the Sons of Speed races, and it's like I heard comments like, "Wow, she is the real deal. That wasn't just a fluke."
Yeah.
And she's just continuing to do all this stuff that is very difficult to do, and winning doing it.
Right. Were you ever into racing back in the day? You were never into racing or anything like that? No.
Not at all. And when we first decided to go land speed racing, we had no experience whatsoever in racing. But of course, I know so many people in the industry, and I've got so many friends that were racers that we had the best advisors that you could get.
Right.
Advising us. And I mean, I spend hours and hours every week on the phone gathering information to build our first race bike.
Sure.
It paid off.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool.
I mean, that's what's cool is that we have so many different friends in different bubbles of the motorcycle industry, and I get good opportunities that I can take advantage of and do it. When I put my mind to something, I do it. It's just a matter of time.
No, that's true. And and I'm going to brag on you a little bit. But what I love about you is you're very humble, and you guys have both of you have a long pedigree in the industry, and still just regular people. And I talk to people like, "Oh, the Perowitz? Oh, yeah, they're great people. Oh man, I love to meet them." Like, just go up to them and say hi. They're the friendliest people you'll ever meet. There's no pretension, not pretentious. They're good, honest, hardworking people, and I think that's important to showcase, because there are people out there that I'm not gonna name names that think they're because they've been on TV or because they've got a name that they're better than everyone else or above everyone else. And to me, that's not any way to operate. You got to stay humble and be approachable, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, we don't think anything more. DP and I come to work every day. Today somebody said to me this morning, they're like, "Oh, you working today?" And I said, "Yeah." And they go, "Well, it's a holiday." And I said, "So what?"
Right.
I'm still going to come to work. And that's the thing. No matter what our fame is or fortune or any of that, we still come to work because this is what we do and this is what we love to do. And like I said, we're just very fortunate with the, experiences that we get and that we can take advantage of them.
Yeah.
And we're just regular people that can take advantage of things.
Sure.
We just love motorcycles. That's all.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. If you love what you do and you're passionate what you do, it doesn't seem like work. And I'm in a little bit different business than you guys. You're actually like working with your hands and making stuff happen. I'm doing more like the marketing and the promotional side. But I get up every day and just love what I do. When I was in high school and college, I'm like, man, one of these days I have to work and it's gonna suck, and it's going to be routine. And I remember even people when I was in college that graduated a year before me, and I go to visit with them, and we used to party together. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to I'm going to hate my life. But I was very fortunate, both as a teacher for a number of years and then coming into this industry, which I'm thankful my father gave me the opportunity. But it's great. It doesn't seem like work, and being around folks like you and getting to do something we all love, is a blessing, because not everybody can say they love what they do and they wake up every day looking forward to the next day.
Yeah. So all right, Ari. So I don't want to cut you off or anything, but I think we're past our lunch break that we got to get back to work.
As long as you guys want, I'm good. I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Well, we got some work that we got to do.
I don't want to keep that.
Thank you very much for coming on. Thanks for reporting from Arizona Bike Week and the Law Tigers main headquarters in Phoenix.
Yep.
Where it's awfully warm out there. You can send us some warm weather if you want.
100-day. We're gonna have another 300 or 400 days, which is a record. I think I was listening to this morning on the news. So more 100-day plus days than I think. It's a record breaker than ever before or recorded or something. So I'm praying for some cool weather here. It's enough's enough. I'm looking forward to my 80-degree weather. Unfortunately, all the snowbirds come with it, but that's just price of being in a nice state in the spring and winter.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll be waiting for those new masks.
Yeah.
I bet you. So I'm getting you each a mask. I'm gonna get you another hat. I'm gonna get you some of the nitrate gloves, and then when my nice riding gloves come out, I'll give you those as well. How about
Yeah,
Sounds good.
You're gonna be hooking us up.
Yeah, right.
with pleasure. With pleasure.
Well,
Thank
Ari, it
you,
was good to
guys.
have you on. It's
Good
been
show.
a great hour.
I've enjoyed it. Anytime you want to chat, you just let me know, and I look forward to seeing you guys hopefully sooner than later.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Ari.
Talk to you soon.
Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ari.
All right, guys. So we wanted to give a shout out once again to India Motorcycles for sponsoring Chopper History today. That was Ari from Law Tigers, who is also one of our new sponsors for Chopper History. So if you guys are ever in need of motorcycle lawyers, please give Law Tigers a call, in which they do some awesome videos. I'll post a link to their page. Go over to their page, Law Tigers on Facebook, and like their page because they have videos from all the events that they do, Facebook Lives. It's definitely a great group of real riders. And I think that's it on Monday. On Thursday, we are going to have Cam from Music City Indian. So make sure you guys tune in on Thursday for that show. And if you guys have any suggestions or want us to talk about anything, comment, send us a message, whatever you got. I think that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody that's watching. We didn't get a chance to list all the
the
people. I mean, there's a big long list, and you know who you are. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you Thursday.
All right. Catch you guys on Thursday.